Okay. Wasn't quite expecting that to undo that stuff, but whatever. Let's bump this one up a little bit. Then yeah, I think 22 is where it should be. Okay. Cool. Hello. So, this stream I'm going to be refactoring the entity component system. It's definitely totally not because I have no idea what I'm doing with OpenGL or anything like that. Definitely not because of that. It's absolutely because I don't like how the entity component system is currently working. So let's take a closer look at the entity component system as is and see where things are bad. So for one, the obvious part is this right here, right? All of the code should be self-contained, right? I shouldn't have to, I should write once and never touch it again, right? Except for like, because I'm learning more about, you know, C++ and just computer science in general. Obviously, you know, refactoring is still going to be a thing, but I should never have to do this, right? This should be something more along the lines of hello. Right, this should be like a for constant auto components this minus components, right? Right. This is how it should be. Right. This is what we should be doing. And then this way, we don't have to worry about this garbage. So the big thing that I want to, so that's one thing that we have to change. Another thing that I want to change is signatures. I don't like. Right, I don't like signatures. I don't like the fact that I'm holding a set of entities. I also don't like the fact that I'm passing around a bunch of pointers. Let's make a little list for ourselves, right? So, things I don't like. For one, Java. Another thing that I don't like is since we're not using Java, I can already mark that. I don't like having to update entity for every component type. I don't like the signatures. I don't like, what else did I say? Oh yeah, I also don't like the fact that the entity is holding a signature, right? I don't like that entities hold data. I don't like that. Like none of that stuff is good. I don't like how any of that stuff is working. I also don't entirely like how to access components of an entity. I don't really like that either. I don't like the fact that I don't like passing entity pointers around. Should be an int to be a should be a uint slash custom type, something along these lines, right? So this will have to be a little bit later, so let's drop this down, right? So why don't I like signatures, right? So signatures currently are just a type def bit set. Now why is this bad, right? The bit set, and needs this, the size of the bit set needs to be declared not just at compile time, it needs to be known at write time. It's a const, it's an R value, actually. The difference between an R value and an L value is that an L value is a variable and an R value is not. That's the best way to think of it, right? So you can't do something like 10 equals int I, right? This doesn't work. As soon as it catches up. Alright. This doesn't work because this is an R value, and it'll even tell you. And as soon as IntelliSense actually crops up, expected a declaration, you know, things along those lines. But either way, so this needs to be an R value. So it can be like hash define or a bunch of other things, things along these lines. But for the most part, like it needs to be immutable. So you know, there's so that's one of the reasons why. Now, why is this bad? Right, it means that if I were to do this to be as small as possible, then I would have to, every time that I created a new component type, I would have to update this to be however many components I have. Right, because I can't just state it to be the component, right? Because like the component plus plus is like a thing. Update list components, that's in, yeah, here. You know, I can't just say components count, right? I can't do that. Because it needs to be done at compile time, right? So if I try and do component count, right? If I try and do that, it's going to throw an error and it's saying expression must have a constant value, and it's not constant, right? Inline static const size, you know, if I try and do that, then I can't do this, right? So I can't, it needs to be a const value, so I can't do that, alright? 2096, let's just keep that there for now. Now, why is this bad? Because it is 264, wait, what? I did my math wrong. What is 256 times 8? 2048. That's the proper one. Right. 2048. Right. So this is... Alright, this is 256 bytes. So, why is this bad? It's because every time that I make a new entity, that allocates another 256 bits. Another 256 bytes. Which is terrible. And why that's terrible is that each entity is at most going to have like what, 10 or 12 components, maybe 16, right? Every entity is not going to have that many components, so the fact that the bit set is very space saving loses its power very quickly because the percentage of the bit set that is set is very small compared to the maximum size of the bit set itself. So it would be better to just remove the concept of a signature altogether. So I'm going to do that. And the entity is just going to be a holder of... It's just going to be its own thing, right? So I want to remove that. Why is identifier name is undefined type name? What the hell? I don't understand what's going on here. Type name T, why is, okay. Okay, well it's, okay, fine. Fix your shit. So this is going to be a thing that's going to be removed, that's going to be removed, this is going to be removed. Okay. I think they don't like signatures. Also, like, this is a thing that needs to be removed. This is a thing that needs to be removed as well. Make signature needs to be pulled. And then all of this stuff needs to be removed as well. The whole signature changed paradigm may change as well. But for the most part, all the errors are now gone because we're removing the entire concept of a signature altogether, right? So that's fine. So I don't like signatures. Lowercase x is fine. This is still a thing. This is a thing that's now a thing to be done. Right? So I need to like rewrite a bunch of stuff now. Right? But removing signatures for now, I may change them to be a list of like component IDs or something along those lines. Because like I can't really like the ID is something that I can't. I don't really know how to avoid this yet, because I don't know how to handle like C++, because C++ gets kind of weird, right? Because like if I go C++, properties and templated classes. I mean, yeah, there's like a bunch of stuff over here, right? But and then assign a value, so it should be initialized member. Inside to be default initialized and then set value. The solution is to initialize it initializer and then remember initializer list instead of assigning it to this constructed body. Right? Yeah. And there's kind of a lot of things to be going on with this, right? Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things here, right? Because I want to have like a templated class properties. Oh god, my eyeballs. Force dark mode. Okay, cool. Command pattern, my command manager, okay. Use all these. Set side, execute, and do. Generic properties. Struct T property. God, there's so much going on here. Yeah, there's a lot going on here that I don't really care. It's less nice than what I would prefer. Because I would prefer something along the lines of, say, or this is a read-only property type, size T, ID. Right. And then gets ID. And then this is a thing, right? Like this should still compile. Do I have anything going on here? Do I have anything going on here? No, I don't. Okay. So in here, what should happen is return size T this, right? Return size T the address of this, right? You want to, you're not like dereferencing it, what you're doing is you're grabbing the, you're casting the pointer as a unsigned integer. Right. And since count doesn't exist, it doesn't matter. So I can just do string text. Cool. Because ID doesn't really exist anymore. So that's fine. So all that works properly. So let's see what happens when we build. Right? If I remember correctly, it will throw an error. Two failed. Until line 12. utils.h, line 12. That's fine. Shots will be fine. I'm not sure why this didn't save. So now let's build again and see what new errors happen. So more stuff. Compiled source file, data unknown, override specifier, no such file or directory, gl includes .h. What do you mean? What? Project. Properties. No such file or directory. Okay. Yeah, all of these are proper. Okay. There's so much going on. Yeah, there's just a lot going on here, and I don't understand why it's not doing any of that. Right, because I don't understand why it's not finding glew.h, because it should be. Let's see here, external libs, glew. Include glew.h. What's in there? Yeah, that's very strange. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Turn libs, glew dash, yeah, well that's fine. Okay, it's just not allowing anything to happen properly, right? So what we can do, we can do that. And then if we build, it should build just fine. Oh no, it's still not doing it properly. Yeah, it's still... There's still so many syntax errors. Why? I don't understand why all this is going on. Well, all that's gonna be invisible to you guys. And kinda invisible to me. Well, you know, I can just take this and add it as a tab over here. Yeah. Yeah. It should be fine. Includes.h. No such file or directory. Oh. Why is my thing not charging? That's not good. Oh, there we go. That would probably explain a few things. Okay, so That's a little strange. Solution Explorer, okay. So an FFE tester, I also need to have these includes? Yeah, I do, okay. That's kind of a problem. I'm not too terribly happy about that. So that's kind of a problem. W then. Okay. So now no. No, no, no. Okay. Expected oh, that's only 2 errors. That's more than 2 errors. Line 16. Okay. So that needs to be that and that. And a that. Okay. So let's do that. And now let's build solution again. And let's see what happens. Oh, okay. Bunch more errors. Source, source. Okay. Bunch of errors in 6 non-member entities. So syntax error missing but for return in utils line 22. Okay. This is another thing that needs to have Dubu Jam and poll index, yada yada yada. This is one of the main reasons why. What's up? That's the thing. Missing that before return, missing that before return. What's those? Indices identifier not found in ECS.h. So I should still have like a bunch of more. Line 37. This is entity. Get indices is that. Oh, where did I put the crap? I don't think I put the crap there. Yeah, that's fine. Build solution. Let's see what happens. Still a bunch of 2 failed. There it was. See who's not a member of entity, yada yada yada, okay. There's still a bunch of errors, right? Indices identifier not found. What do you mean indices identifier not found? Should be fine. Right? Like, I don't understand it. Okay, so there's still like plenty of things that I need to fix. Right? So for one, Well, actually, for one, let's just pop this down here again because I don't care enough to fix that. The output, let's put that here as well. Yeah, I'm gonna move all that over here. Just because that will make things a lot nicer to me. Okay. Put your list, yeah. So. What kind of problems am I running into? So for one, I do still want to have struct component that is indeed and all these things are fine. It's fine. Oh, this is actually CS dot indices for one. And indices, okay. So that's that. That should clear up a lot of those. But one of the biggest things I need to figure out, right, is the utils. The utils should not have any bugs. There should be no compilers. Oh hey, and Neo Kenobi. Hello, how's it going? How you doing today? Sig's on ECS.h, ECS.h, ECS.h. Cool, perfect. So, pretty sure you missed the intro, but I am redoing the empty component system again because of things I don't like. So let's just, yeah, that's good. That should be good. Yeah. Maybe a little bit bigger. Let me move this over a little bit. Good, glad to hear it. So yeah, there's some things I don't like about how the current NV component system works. It's just going to give a bunch of headaches later on. So I'm working towards fixing all of that stuff. So I've deleted the signature from entity because I don't like how entities. I've also deleted signatures altogether for now. I don't like how entities actually hold data. They shouldn't hold any data. They should just be able to. They should, in essence, just be a typecast of size t. Yeah, yes, exactly. Fixing it early gives us a good framework. That's exactly right. I want to write everything once and never have to touch it again, except for some optimizations later on. You know, and this whole entity component system work started off as kind of like a toy model anyway, and then I improved on it, and then hopefully this is the last time I need to improve on it again. So, let's see. Let's go down into here, and let's do a read-only property. And this is going to be a size t, and then ID. And this is a get ID. And then this is also, this is essentially just going to return a typecast of size t. And then this is going to be the address of this. Because pointers are, by definition, IDs entirely. Now, I also want, so that doesn't need to be a thing. Also, this doesn't need to be a thing, right? And the way that signature changed is going to have to be a thing as well. And it might... So there are a few little things, a couple little caveats, right? Going on. So while I mull that over, I'm going to explain why signatures were so bad. At least a bit set for a signature. It's because you need to have the length of the bit set be defined at write time. Meaning when I write it in the code, that's when I need to know what it is. It needs to be an immutable system. It needs to be an immutable thing. It needs to be constant. So as I define new component types, I have to manually update that. And that's terrible, because that means that the end user can't create their own components, at least not easily. I'm sure there's like a way to do it, but it'd be such a colossal pain in the ass. They'd have to effectively rewrite their own entity component system from scratch every time that they want to add in a new component, and that just seems like it's just really bad design. That also means that it's a lot more work for myself when I'm trying to create new components. And similarly with, the systems and all that stuff, creating custom systems becomes a absolute bloody nightmare, and I don't want to have to deal with that crap, right? So instead, it should be a lot easier if I just set things up in such a way that allows for custom stuff. Yeah, manual memory allocation in C++ still bugs me, but I'll get over it, hopefully before we get super far into our puzzles. Yeah, yeah, like that's a big thing. Like, it's like manual memory management is like, it's something to keep in mind. I personally, it doesn't bug me like at all. I think that's like part of the charm of C++ to me, is that you have this very low level access to memory, and manipulating memory is the most powerful thing that you have access to in C++. And it also gives you some really, really clever ways of solving certain problems that you don't really have access to in a lot of other programming languages. It's by no means necessary in very many cases, but it is something that is nice to have. Like, you have access to this incredibly powerful tool. And in fact, that's really all that C++ does, is manipulate memory. And that is like as long as you understand that the purpose of C++ is the manipulation of memory, it allows you to design things and do your code in very efficient and elegant ways. So the earlier you understand that, the better. So that's really all that you're doing. Like, this whole typecast here, like, this is Carmackian as hell, right? Like, this is some serious Carmackian abuse of syntax. Typecasting a pointer into a size t. Like, who would do that? Especially as like a property. Right. So like that's just a thing that you can do. You have access to. And I would also want to do another thing here, because what like, I don't like having to do, like, one thing that I also don't like is the whole, there's good reasons for it, but I don't wanna let my game bloat and cause memory leaks. I mean, yeah, there's that. But another thing that I don't like is the whole, components, text, entity, right? I don't like this stuff, right? I don't like this whole syntax. I really don't like this syntax. And I also don't exactly like, you know, the whole entity plus components text equals here's some text, right? I don't like this either, right? I don't like these things. These things just seem kind of like it works, it's fine, like it works, it's functional, but it seems messy to me, right? I really don't like these things. So one thing that I would like to do is, how do I do an operator overload again? Const, yeah, const, yeah, no, I all need to be const. Right, so I could do const, what am I gonna return here? Oof. Do I need... Like, this is a strange thing here. Oh. Because what I could do, like, hear me out here. What I could do is the component struct. It is just a struct of entities, and then that struct holds the entities. Oh yeah, I also don't like the std. It's another thing I don't like. You know, std set. I don't like this either. I can't do a better. I mostly stopped by to say hello. I don't have anything new this week. Still running around in hectic life. Hopefully CPAP soon to help sleep and then get back on the puzzle train. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I hope the whole CPAP stuff works out for you. And also thank you for stopping by. It's nice. I like seeing you and my stuff. It's good to have. And yeah, we will we will get our project up and running at some point. But I think if I do like a size T operator, and this is a int component struct comp. Argument list for class template component struct is missing. Oof. Yeah, because it needs to be templated. Can I have templated operator? That's interesting. I want to be able to have a reference. This is strange. Alright, because like, can I do... Well, you know, this is computer science, so I might as well do some science and experimentation. Alright. Templates. Type name. Key. It should be able... Yeah, because it's all like created during compile time, so I should be able to do a const. And I want to return the type name. T reference operator. And this is components, component struct type T comp. Should be able to just do this, and then it should be able to return whatever it is, right? Instead of an empty pointer, this should be a size T. E. And in here, it'll just return, you know, because I can do a read-only property, type size T, ID. This is a get ID. Come on. Return size T. Pointer to this. Why is it not? Why does it work here, but not here? Why must the expression be an L value? What the hell? It's literally the same. It's very strange. I don't really know where all that's going. That's very strange. Because it works for the struct. What if I just make this a struct? That's very strange. You're not a member of component struct 119. That's very strange. I don't understand what's going on there. And that is also not working for some reason. Read-only property. Size T ID. And this is a get ID. Return size T, and then I want to typecast this. Yeah, it still needs to be an L value? Why does it need to be an L value? Well, this shouldn't need to be an L value. Oh, ampersand needs. And requires an L value. What? Oh, because it is a pointer. I just need to... Yeah, okay. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. So, this also means that with certain designations, if I rebuild the solution, because I also need to have yeah, IDs are not an identifier. Line 63. Good God. Yeah, all of these need to be just deleted. Control Z. Yeah, that's just bad. All this needs to go. Turned it in CC, right? I mean, I can do that. I think it's fine. Because I also want to not have this is just a size T. Right. And you know, this is a thing that I'm going to need to change as well. Right. That's fine. So let's see here. Getting the ID. Okay, so I got the ID. And then what I want to do is const T reference yeah, it is T reference operator, and then this is a size T. Well, I mean, I could template this. T. Yeah, I need to template it anyway. Right, yeah. So this is a component struct of type T comp. And in here, what I want to do is return the components component indices. Component indices at ID. And should be fine. Yeah. Should be fine. It's still probably gonna yell at me. Too few parameters. Is that initialized or is it a variable type here? Component struct is not a member of components. Because component struct has not been created yet. Well, I think just could cut all of that out and then place it down here. Yeah, it should be fine. It's not declared yet. Because component struct needs to be declared beforehand, I do believe. That should fix that error. $27. Binary left takes a right-hand operand of type entity pointer. Well, strange. What is that? N27? That's a little strange. I feel like it should be over here. That's 47. Oh, that's in ECS, does it? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's the thing. It is entity at index components text. This should work. There's operands. Operand types are entity. Yeah, that is the entity itself. I think that I also need to do this to do that. I can do that. And that should be updated. And here, it's not that, it's that. Okay. That's the thing. Now, one of the things that I need to be able to do is structs shouldn't be entities, right? These should be size t's. God, this is such a pain in the ass. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. All of these are fine. Because I do actually want to have, well, I mean, I guess these could all be changed. Right. Because there is like a little bit of a doobly jam, right? Because there's like there's a little bit of a strange thing here, right? And I don't like that, right? So now I can access components in different ways, right? I also don't necessarily want this. I don't necessarily need that. Because of these kinds of things, right? Sensitive down there. Bunch of other things. This could be size T. Entity, but these I don't necessarily want, right? What I really want is a what I really want is in essence like a set of I was like, well, I mean, these are just going to be size T's now, right? The because what? Yeah, I'm just gonna have the set is gonna be the largest thing. And well, I mean, I guess I could reuse some information, right? Size T entity. So 9 static that. This is instantiated, so that's fine. Now I would also like each of the systems, because I want the scenes to be in charge of the systems. Come on, YouTube. Why it gotta be like this? Okay. Yeah, so I can remove this, right? Love you. Hmm. That might be a thing. But it doesn't necessarily do the stuff that I want it to do. Because one of the things that I can do is, because there is a little bit of a problem, right? Because one way of doing things is that I can do that's something that I could do. Because one thing that I could do is I can say, you know, entity player, alright, and then I can do player component text equals some text. Alright, and then I can do player minus components text. Yeah. That does make a lot of sense. Yeah, so I'll do that. I'll create another thing here with a const. Well, I mean, I'll do a templates type name t const t operator minus, and this is t e component struct comp. Customer is missing. Ah, yes. T. Yeah, there we go. So when you subtract a component from an entity, there we go. Then do the removal steps. I also need to make sure that I have an easy way of going through all components and pulling them. But I still want them to be named. Well, I mean, it also might not necessarily be bad. There's like one thing that I want to be able to do is be able to pause a certain scene. Which means each scene will have to be in charge of. No, your tummy, your head, still hurting. Yeah. You're hungry? Want me to make you something else real quick? Want me to make you something? Yeah. Wanna ramen? Okay. Then I will put this on hold. Alright, and now I am back. Okay, so where was I? Now, one of the things that I would really like to do. Okay, is have another public here. This is going to be an inline static. This is where things get a little bit complicated. Because I can't just type that thing. Because I need to be able to remove all of this stuff. Yeah. Well, I mean, the only information that I really need is the indices. Right? That is an unordered map. Ah, yeah, because I can do... I don't want to do this. Because it'd be an array of std unordered map type size t size t all indices. I'll get this all indices. Pointers. Text dot indices. No, yeah. All indices. That should be fun. This is a little bit not great, because this is going to be a little bit problematic later on if I want to add custom stuff. What's up? Seems like the source is not available. I would love to take a look. You might be in the wrong branch. You'd have to go into the alpha branch I do believe. Yeah, you'd have to just take a look at the branches on GitLab. My branch structure got kind of messed up. Yeah, let's take a quick little gander here. Because like the Alpha 1 branch is, well, the Beta 1 branch is the one that I'm currently working on. So effectively what will happen is that the branches, the beta branches is new features, the alpha branch is new sets of features. And then once of those branches, once I finish a set of features, then I'll merge it onto release, and release is going to be the major branch. So if you can't see the source, then you're probably on the wrong branch. So I'll just take a look at the different branches. Yeah. And no, I'm not like a super professional C++ programmer. I'm all completely self-taught, so I've just been making games for 15 years. And that's largely where all of my experience comes from. So there's probably quite a lot of unsafe code. Hopefully not too terribly much, but yeah. Can't see anything source related. Let's take a look. Let's figure out what's going on here. Because nothing should be privatized. Oh, okay. Project does not have a wiki homepage yet. And there's nothing. It's very strange. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. That is strange. Let me take a quick little look as to what's going on here. Yeah, because it only showed snippets, and it's not saying anything about the repository graph or the branches or the repository at all. Source doesn't show. File listing in web browser doesn't display for one project. Let's see here. GitLab source doesn't show for other people. Guest user can't see the project's code in private repository. Should be a private. Seems rather odd to me. Because the repository should be fine. Like the The repository itself should be set to public. Visibility in the feature. Yeah, it's set to public. So yeah. View and edit. Okay, everyone with access. That's what happened. Okay, I think I actually saved it now. Yeah, I think I fixed it. Give it a couple moments and then try it again. Here in a sec, because I think I fixed it now. I see it now? Awesome, cool. Yeah, I'm a little bit new to GitLab. I prefer how GitLab runs things. Also, its logo is a fox, and I'm a fox person. So, I mean, I kind of have to. I know it's a little bit silly to do things that way, but also a lot of the tools that GitLab has are far superior to GitHub. Okay, cool. So that's fixed. Let's see here. So I have these things. So again, I would want, it may be a little bit interesting. So I have this array of unordered map pointers to indices. Now really, all that happens when you remove... what happens when you remove, right? Yeah, okay, so what happens when you remove a component from an entity? What is this operation going to look like? Well, for one, we need to... the components dot indices dot from dot erase a dot id. I need to erase the ID. This also means that in here I can do as much. I have been thinking about it. I actually use OfferGX, but I did used to use Firefox. Yes, Firefox is great, but I use OfferGX. It's just OfferGX is just too good not to use. So I am kind of betraying my kind a little bit by using OfferGX, but for const auto reference component yeah, comp in the component all indices comp dot erase this ID. Comp erase this ID. Yeah, it should be good. I think that should work. The all indices thing is a little bit strange. Yeah. Because I do have like a pointer to some unordered maps and things like that, but it's a little bit strange. I don't really... like that. I think it should be fine. This is a little bit more, this is still a little bit less. This is still just a little bit less, it's still a little bit more manual cleanup than I would like, still. But I think this is still better. I think this is still closer to what it is that I want. So we have that. Now I also need to update a lot of things. Take a look here. So I can update this one. I can remove that. I can also remove that. And then I should also do things to update. We still need to fix the system signature changed. Signatures, because I've completely removed signatures altogether. I just don't like having massive bit sets, because you know a bit set is very, very data dense, right? Because you just store information per bit instead of per bytes or multiple bytes. But if you have, say, several thousand components or even hundreds of components, and each entity only holds a handful of components, and you're wasting so much data, so much memory. You just lose out on so much there that it's not, you know, it's not really viable anymore. And also, since I've completely removed the concept of signatures as in reference to entities, that entities are literally just dataless classes, and they only just have a bunch of helper functions within them for accessing components and returning its own IDs. It is very, very important, I feel like, to have. Well, actually, no, this should be a reference. I think these should be references. These should be like L values, essentially. We want these to be L values. We don't want them to be R values, because it's going to put a bunch of extra data onto the stack, and I don't necessarily want that. Because that will mess things up. You know, and the size T, this can be an R value. This is going to be the, well, I mean, I guess this could be an entity reference. I want this to be an R value. Oh, poor my love. Yeah, I want those to be references. Same thing with this. And I guess this could also be a reference, because I want both of these to be L values instead of R values. Yeah, that could be fine. And those are pointers. That's all that. Okay. Love you. It's okay, things happen. Not your fault, you're coughing up a lung. Entity reference. Yes. And this is also an entity reference, and instead of an entity pointer, we want this to be an entity reference. For auto system updates. Yada yada yada. Cool. Perfect. So, what do we do whenever the signature changes, right? For instance, then what does it mean that the signature has changed, and also, what does it mean for a system to have a signature? And do we want, because I want the systems, at some point I do want to have like instantiation of systems. Like I want, oh actually that's not too bad. Not terrible. The update struct is this thing. And each of these lists will be a thing, right? Because I will need at least some semblance of a signature. Right? Because, say the signature changed, it would be, component changed. Entity, right? And in here, instead of signature changed, it is, you know, a component changed. And also, what is going to be in charge of that? I mean, it could be the system, because the system does need to know that this instance of the system needs to well, I mean, all but these are things, right? That is where things get a little bit strange. Because the other way of doing it is that I can, instead of this being a static system, and these being static, and we'll need to move this around a little bit, but I think for now this should be fine. Right. Because at some point we'll have at some point make systems in instances and not static. Right. I will need to do that at some point, but I think at first I just need to make it work. You know what I mean? So let's build just to see what new problems show up. Because I know I have a bunch of errors. But, you know, it'll be fine. Oh. $59. This is ECS.h, 59. Return, comp dot data at these indices, and that should be it. Yeah. Haha. Everything allegedly works. Okay. I still don't really like this. Right. Those creating components are going to be, I don't know. I feel like there's another way of handling. Oh, I mean, could go back to using this. 'Cause that's really easy to do, right? Yeah. Because all of these are the same type, which means that instead of this, I can remove the inline, and I can do count. Must have a constant value. Shit. Well, there goes that idea. That sucks. Okay. I'm sure there's ways around that. Because this is like what I was going to try and do. Yeah, because this also needs to be done at... It's the same problem that I had with the bit set, in essence. So, I'm sure that there's ways of being a little bit more... The only other way of doing this is that I can do... Because what I could do is struct. I comp struct stct comp struct. Right, in here I can move that there, and that there. And then this is public I construct. Is that? And then what I want to do with this, but yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that yet. Come on. Boy. Boy. I can do all that yet. There's gotta be. There's things here that I don't like. Because I would really like to be able, right, I need to have them be named. I need them named. I need them named. But I also need to be able to add stuff to it. Alright. Okay. I think once I create my own map, because I will be making my own map. My own unordered map. That is something I'm going to be doing. So I think once I do that, it'll be a lot better. Alright, my own set. Lacking out of the my own map. This is the thing I don't like. This set is fine. Set's fine. I don't like the unordered map. So the init struct. Can I do, let's see, int r. Yeah, I need to declare. Yeah. Okay. The array needs to be initialized to some amount. What happens if I go into here? Or what happens if I do okay. So it doesn't like it when I do that. That's fine. Because it needs to be, that also needs to be done at the right time. Whew. Okay, so what happens if I do std set of Size T, set size T, hops. And here I can do an FPD set size T hops. Right. Then I might be able to do I can do an array initializer, right? So I could do something along the lines of components text dot ID. Name followed by the class namespace. What? Huh? Oh, I missed the. There we go. Text.id. Yeah, okay. That makes things nice. And then that can even be empty. Cool. So that's fine. That's good. And I can even have empty ones. That's nice. Which means that whenever a component is changed, which happens what? Right, when does this occur? This occurs in two places. Once here, right? Which also means that I need to because in essence what I need to do is once okay, so when I am adding right, I'm returning a reference to that, right? So when I but it should only change comp data indices. But it might turn null. Yeah, this should just be for accessing. Which means that it would be better if I had player plus component text equals some text, right? And I can also do std cout player components text. Right. This is how it should be, right? So whenever, so let's say if construct comp if comp dot indices dot find id is not equal. Let's see here. C++. Okay, so C++. Check if a map contains a key. And the most elegant way would be use count method. So let's check all the keys we know if it has found one already. I can get expensive fast. Only count more than one key if used on a multi-map. Search the map for word value. That is 2. Okay. Find. And comp dot indices dot and I allegedly have 2 viewers. Want to get that iterator out of find would be more. You probably want to get that iterator out of find would be more efficient. Yeah. There's the other way of doing it. Right? The other way of doing it is say if comp.indices dot count id if not find. Right. These are the 2 different ways of doing it. Yeah. Well. What do you mean? Well, I mean, this is also using a map, and I'm going to be writing my own map class. that specifically uses that capitalizes on the fact that these maps are really only using pointers cast into ints, into unsigned ints. So it's going to use a highly efficient but effective hash function for that data type in particular. So a lot of this stuff is just going to be rewritten anyway, so I'm not too terribly worried about the raw efficiency at the moment. I actually think I'm going to use this one. Right. Just because, yeah. So I'm not too terribly worried about the efficiency of it right now. Now, and again, I don't say that you should just rewrite all the standard containers and stuff, because they are very, very good at what they do. They're generalized, and whenever you have a generalized system, you sacrifice some efficiency in certain cases. So it's always better to have specialized systems. Like, I'm not going to be able to write a better generalized map container, right? But for my purpose, yeah, operator brackets creates a new entry if the ID doesn't exist. In this case, which is why I'm having kind of a fallback, so that if the indices, if the key is not in there, then what will happen is that it'll return null. So that way, or yeah, it'll just return null, right? So that way I can still do I can do because originally I wanted it to create a new entry, but I feel like that can get very messy in the event that someone kind of messes up, right? Because I need to write this for idiots, because I'm oh no, it's probably dropping frames, and also it was kind of stuttering. My laptop is garbage because someone promised me a new computer and then never delivered. So yeah, I love my life. But yeah, I need to keep in mind that I am writing this for idiots, because I'm an idiot. So there we go. Yeah, that's the color I wanted to see. Right. So I don't necessarily want it to do that. And I want all the templates. Type name T. And then here it'll be a const T reference operator plus. And this is going to be an entity reference E. And then a component struct type T reference comp. Yes. Whenever you're making software that's to be used, yeah, whenever you're making software that's going to be used by people, you have to write it with the understanding that an idiot is going to use it, even if it's just for yourself, because you are an idiot. That's just how it works, right? So, oh yeah, I also need to return a copy of the stuff. So I also need to return the thing. I forgot to do that. Yeah, I'm not too surprised if I drop frames a lot and things just start lagging because my computer's a turd basket. Which also means that if this system runs fine on this PC, it'll run fine on anyone's PC. It'll be another, you know, like what can't run Doom. You can run Wolf 3D on anything. You can run Doom on anything. And that's the kind of mentality that I want to uphold. So I love developing on low-end systems because it really does help with optimization. Because if it'll run in debug mode just fine on your dev platform, then it'll run on anything. Same thing with like all kinds of things. I think that is a very healthy way of developing software. Write my engine on a crappy laptop too. A real struggle. Yeah, it is a struggle, but you also know that it's gonna run. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna run, which is really nice. So yeah, so we have the component and we have the entity and the component. So I want to add it. Yeah. So we plus I mean, if someone wants to add the same component multiple times, I think it should just override it. So here, I think it should just return comp dot data at comp dot indices at e dot id. Right. Because that way if someone can just overwrite something just by using the plus operator. And then in here, right, what I want to do is I want to set a temp is equal to comp at data at, well, hold on, comp.data at comp.indices at e.id, and then here it will be return temp. Right. That way, you know, we remove the entry in the indices, but we also get a reference. We get a copy of whatever it was, right? Because I don't know what it would be. Like, you might want to, you know, whenever you destroy something, whenever you destroy a particular component, you know, it returns what that used to be, you know, so that's fine. I'm okay with that. It's very nice to be able to do things after you destroy something. Like, I don't really have any exact examples offhand, but I do know that it can be a very useful thing to have. It's a nice thing to have available, you know. So let's see here. Yeah, I want this kind of syntax. I feel like is something that's very useful. I can delete. Is the music coming in nicely? Can you still hear me over the music, but also still be able to hear the music? Let's see here. So, got that. the I mean, I guess it was great. Okay, cool, good. That's good. Printer file, create CPU files. Like that. Like that. Let's also have a few other things between here. Refactored. What is it? ECS? Let's just make sure that we have all of this done the way we want to. We removed signatures entirely. We also refactored entity management? Question mark? Entities are now empty. This is a very key thing. What else have I done? So, oh yeah, I need to handle probably be a component changed. Yeah, I need to do that. I need to actually make that a thing, don't I? Yeah, okay. So for every I definitely need to change that. There's a lot of things in here that there's still a few things that I'm not super pleased with, because currently creating custom components is like nigh impossible. Like, not without a lot of extra work. So I will need to change that at some point. Right, I will need to change that at some point. Yeah. But I think that should be fine. Because, like, for now, this is fine. And this can be an instance. Same thing with this. This can be an instance. This can be an instance. Count can just exist, it's fine. It's 4 bytes. No, it's 8 bytes, it's fine. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. Yeah. So on average, systems, since these are sets, systems will be a very small footprint. Same thing with entities. Entities are basically free. You can have however many entities and they don't really increase the stuff. Yeah. It might be possible to do things like make factories. Might be possible to make like a factory function, like a create entity and destroy entity. But I think, but that also means you'd have to have a create player function. A lot of other things, and I just feel like I could make it a lot smaller so that you're just passing just raw pointers around. But I feel like having a class, because the class is just going to be, yeah, it's just 1 byte. That's a singular byte. You could have, you know, I think 1 million entities in world, and that's still only 1 megabyte of memory. Right? So the actual footprint is super tiny. So I don't think that it's really necessary. Because the raw like pointer management would be absurd. Because you'd have to like you'd have to keep track of how many of what component, and because you could technically have an entity be a pointer into a pointer to a component, or like a part of a component or something along those lines. And you know, like there are ways of making entities literally free, or at least not take up any more memory than a component would. But I feel like the memory footprint ratio is so out of whack that it literally wouldn't even matter, you know. So yeah, you need to figure out how to manage the component changed, right? So for every system in the init list, you need to see if the entity contains all. So let's do the bool contains all is equal to true, right? Bool contains all is equal to true. So for const auto comp in system dot comps, right? And what type is it? It is, oh wait, I don't even need entities. The system doesn't care about entities. Oh wait, no, it does. Z. Right. Well, I mean, I guess I could just do... Set size T. Well, the size T is just the pointers, right? Okay. Alright, because I do need a list of... Because, like, one way of doing it is that I would have a list. Alright, I could have a set of... No, this would be a smaller footprint. Alright. Because there's also a lot of multiple things, right? So the contains all equals true for functional component in system.comps. It is a set of size T. Right. So I am comparing the IDs. Yeah, I'm comparing IDs, right? So how do I check to see if the how do I check to see if the component how do I check to see if the entity contains the component, right? So here's a really clever way of doing it, right? Contains all and the expression that is entity comp that's just the ID. That is just the ID. How do I use this ID? Because all that I'm doing is having the ID. I'm just passing IDs around at this point, right? I mean, it could be pointers. Component pointers. Alright. Oh. But I can't. Right. So, how do I check? So I have access. Well, what I can do is what I need to do these are all the indices. what happens? Okay, so entity. What does that if the... I need to find if the component contains the entity, the indice. Right? And I can't exactly just dereference the integer. I also don't have a reference. I just have the ID. Which means the entity. And equals. I need to be able to find out if the entity if that entity is in So one way of doing this is I can have another map. And the map would be between a size t. Map would have a size t key. And a set of what? Like a set of size t's? Seems like a pretty massive overhead. Which actually feels no different. That does feel no different. And then, right, because if I have an STD set of size t here, comps, and then what I can do here would be e dot comps dot insert comp dot id, and I could do that. And then here I can do e dot comps dot erase, and then comp dot id. Could do that. Right. I feel like this is, and this right here is this, yeah, it's effectively the same. I feel like there's a better, I don't know. I feel like there's ways of doing this. I don't know how I feel about this. Also don't exactly know how big sets are. 24 bytes. Probably 24 bytes per item. Because it's like 3 pointers, right? Because it's like a doubly linked list. Mel Malbog, Squid Boy, how's it going? Let's see here. You're just being stinky. I'm doing it right. Trying to keep my memory footprint as low as possible, but I think it's trying to get bigger than I would like. How big are these? 80 bytes? Jesus Christ. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Because of like how it's hashing everything. So, in programming, the memory footprint, like here, it says size 80 bytes, that's its memory footprint. Here, it is 4100, it's 41,048 bytes. Because the car array is 1 byte. Why is that so big though? Why is that 41 kilobytes? Huh. A little strange. Well, anyway, so the memory footprint is how many bytes this one object takes up, right? So 41 kilobytes, I thought that was small. Well, yeah. So 41 kilobytes may sound small, but imagine if I have a lot of these, right? It'll add up quickly. So currently, say, let's take a look at entity. The size is 24 bytes. Before, without this is 8 bytes. Right? And well, this is just 1 byte. And all entities will be 1 byte. And as components grows, this entity will also grow in size. So that's its memory footprint. And I want to keep things that are there's going to be a lot of to have the smallest memory footprint as possible, and things that there aren't going to be very many of, those can be larger, right? And namely just because, like, it's just, it will end up being, yeah, so each component type std string text, I think, let's find out. Inline static component struct. I'm a little bit interested here. Ints right. And then here I'll do int.indices, right? So now here, this is only 4 kilobytes, right? It's still a lot more than I would like, but these are only instantiated once. There's only one instance of these, right? Ever. There will only ever be one instance of these. So these can be bigger, and it's fine. But like for the most part, but for like entities, I want entities to be as small as possible. And I also want each of these to grow as slowly as possible as well. There will always be some overhead with data just in general, so strings, text, vectors, just random floats or doubles, you know, all these basic data types, they will have some overhead, and anything that uses that will contain information about it. So I don't want there to be any unnecessary bloat. So I want to maintain a smaller footprint on things there's going to be many of. Ideally, an entity won't even have this. Right? Ideally, I only want them to be 1 byte big. Because if you think about it, if you have a million entities, if you're doing a physics, you know, like a physics simulation, and you have a million particles, well, that's a million entities, and that's 1 megabyte. Even if the entity is just 1 byte, it's still a megabyte of data. And in the case of an entity, that megabyte is completely empty. So if you are going to have a memory footprint, it needs to be useful. So I think having a set of its own components is fine. 24 bytes seems fine, and I think it should be able to kind of pay for itself as I create more and more components. Because before, the old signature was a bit set, and there was some problems with those. A piece of data is 1 bit, but you have to allocate a predefined number of them. So you need to over allocate a lot of the times, which is bad. And you have very sparse information happening. So here contains all and equals. Yeah. And equals comp.id. Wait. And equals if the comps.count entity comps count and equals e dot entity dot comps dot count comp dot id. Well, actually, no, it's just a component. And equals and count greater than 0. Yeah, if it contains that, that means for, yeah, all I care about is if the component contains everything the system has. The component can have other, the entity can have. I mean, I guess I am kind of torturing myself for maximum optimization to a point. Right, because I want this to be lightweight. And I want people to be able to, because like the game that I want to make with this engine is going to require some serious optimization. Because I project that there will be a lot of active entities in the final game, right? So having some really good stuff, and I also want it to be able to run on lower end devices, because I'm developing on a low end device. So I don't want to be like running out of memory. At least not unnecessarily. A noble pursuit, my sir. Why, thank you. Yeah, it's... and there's a lot that is there, so... Bool contains all equals true, and then... if contains all... and if the entity contains all components that are in the system's component list, then we need to say system dot entities dot yeah, insert entity dot id, and then in essence I just copy and paste. Do you have a specific game in mind for that engine, or will this be a generic like Unity or Unreal? Both. Right. The game that I'm ultimately going for is Starforge, or more accurately, finishing what Codehatch had started. And Starforge was supposed to be Minecraft meets Halo, and they abandoned it to work on another project, that they abandoned to work on another project, that they abandoned to work on another project, that they abandoned. You can see where I'm going with this. So obviously they're not going to be finishing Starforge. But it was a really neat idea, and I have my own design ideologies that I would like to impose on the project, kind of take my own spin on it. And it is definitely one of those things that, like, that's one project that I'm, gearing towards. There's also a side project that I'm working with someone with that I'll also be using this engine with. There's a couple other projects that I had done in the past that I would like to redo and finish using this engine. So on one hand, there is a lot of specific so there, on one hand, there is a lot of, like, there's a couple of specific projects, and on the other hand, I do want it to be generic. We the stupid salute you and wish you. Hold on. We the stupids salute you and wish you luck on your noble quest. May fortune and favor follow you, Mr. Fox. Thank you. I'm not saying this is an easy task. I also don't necessarily say that anyone and everyone should and do what it is that I'm doing, because it adds months onto any project. Like, I'm not even at a state that I can make Pong yet, and you can spool up Pong in an afternoon, right? If you just want to make a game, it's like making a game is stupid easy, super easy, barely an inconvenience. You know, anyone can do it. It's not hard to make a game. It's very easy to make a game. Super easy to make a game. With Unreal, Unity, Godot, Game Maker, ClickTeam Fusion, RPG Maker, even with just raw HTML5 with JavaScript, it's really easy to make a game. Or just C++ with OpenGL. It's not hard to make a game. It's really easy to make a game. Like, if it wasn't easy to make a game, then we wouldn't have 72-hour game jams. You know? We wouldn't have Super Meat Boy, we wouldn't have, you know, the countless Flash games that we had back in the day, right? It is very easy to make a game. Go make games. Like, seriously, it's not hard to make a game. Making a novel game, it takes some work, it takes some effort, you know, but it's still doable, you know. That will usually take you about a month to make a novel game. Making a good game takes a lot more effort. You really have to have experience. You have to know what you're doing. You have to have tried making games. And, you know, but keep in mind that making your game is impossible. You will never make the game that you have in your head. It's not going to happen. You have to be able to be flexible with your own ideas. And making an engine isn't terribly difficult. It's just time consuming. It's just software. Hard. It's just a problem that you have to find the problem and then figure out the solution. It's not difficult. It's very straightforward. It's just time consuming. So, to learn how games are made, how games work underneath the hood, and what it is that, you know, your favorite engine is doing behind the scenes. The best way to figure all that out is by making an engine. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing it. Takes dedication and gamer love. Yes. Yeah. It does. It takes a lot of dedication and discipline. It's more discipline than anything else. That's part of the reason why I'm streaming. So I'm giving myself predefined, static, guaranteed labor on it. It's going to cost a lot of labor. Because a lot of the times, unless I can finish a project in 2 weeks, it's not ever gonna happen. And I've been at this since, you know, the middle of December, and it's already February, so I'm already doing a lot more than any of the other projects I've started. So it's definitely helping me personally a lot. And also, if I start to advertise that I'm remaking Starforge, then I can just tell people, like, hey, I'm not CodeHatch, like, here's my stream, I'm streaming it. Like, you can watch every single, you know, second, every single moment, every line of code, every keystroke. You know, like I am making it. Like it's happening. You can come watch, you know. So that's another main reason why I have all these things. So in theory, well, I mean, yeah, I can just do this. Components, well, this, yeah. Components, ints, .id. Do that. And here it doesn't need to do anything. That's fine. So I think in theory all this, well, first of all, it should build. Come on. Okay, 2 succeeded. 0 updated. So include FFE. This is a little bit of an issue. Because FFE has the hash includes. I will need to redo a lot of this stuff, but in theory, I should be able to say entity test. Should be able to say entity test. And then test plus equals, well, test plus components. That's not how you spell that. Component text equals, here is some text. What? With constant string, constant char. Match this argument non does not match parameter. Let's change this here. Int equals 4. Be a modifiable L value. Huh. Must be a modifiable L value. Why? Expression must be a modifiable L value. So there's something going on here. Okay. Entity. It is a reference. Turn a reference to it. That should be it. And this should be a reference as well. Right. And still gonna be throwing some errors. I already know it is. It's gonna fail. Wait, what? Tester ECS.h on line 68. Yeah, it should be. Yeah, because I can't dereference it. Still gonna fail. Not assigning to a variable that is const. Oh, what is const? What is being const? Comp data. Am I not returning unordered map indices? K-array data. Utils.h k-array. T data. Push pull. Push operand T turn the data. Huh. Size TI. Add index I. Well, I also need to do some assertions, but I think it'll be fine. So what happens if I do that? Let's see what happens. Yes. Expression. Unexpected, expected expression. Assigned to a variable that is const, but it's not const. 9. Oh, I think I know what's going on here. Okay. I think I know why I'm being bad. Here. Alright. Still not. It's not const though. Text is equal to. Here is some text. Right. Come on, computer. What are you doing? This matches these operands up and types are const has to be string. Const char function alloc operator equals with does not match because argument 1 does not match parameter. Let's say will that work? Expression must be a modifier for L value. Should be. I do believe you in that. This is strange. Must be a modifiable null value. Because argument 1 does not match parameter. Why? Huh. What happens? Why is this not? I think those need to be not cost. Yeah, I'm the genius, because if it's constant, it's not a thing. Here is some text. Yeah, duh. I'm a genius. There we go. I'm an idiot. Guess who's an idiot? Success 2 failed. Okay. Because then here I should be able to do std cout test at components text std and so I should be able to compile, build and run in debug mode, and I should get no errors. Should work just fine. Any day now. Here's some text. Perfect. And so there's that. And then I should do test minus components text. Wait, stop it. Text. And that should work just fine. And then std cout test at components text std and L. This should work. So it should give me null. Should give me null. Right. Oh, it's still saying some. Access violation reading location. Hmm. Okay. So that's an access violation. That's strange. Hmm. Hmm. That's interesting. Should have had that error correction, right? Maybe that'll work. So this should work. Nope. Still access violation. Where? Choose drains length, guns driver first line. String code. So I'm trying to access something that I can't access. Hmm. Stop at exception. So why? Why is it throwing the exception? It's not throwing the thing. It's not throwing this. Cout conduct deceased dot find ID. Let's see what's going on here. Well, hello, OMG Swarn. Hey, are you able to upgrade an game client from DirectX 7 to 9 Plus? Got an old game, but the UI performance is bad, so I want to upgrade it. Okay. I'm unfortunately not very familiar with DirectX. I'm wrapping things up. Give me a second. I'm not very familiar with DirectX, but what happened? Okay. Well, just yeah, I'm trying to wrap things up. Mark. Oh. Okay. I don't know much about DirectX, but I'm gonna end the stream here.